Okay, so what we're going to cover now is my stuff, okay? So basically what you have is you have a number of different things. When I click on it, the first thing that takes me to is my password and profile page, which basically allows me to come in here, and if I want to change my username or my password, I can do it. I can update my information. This is a way that I can change my information. Say I move, but I know that the company, I want to make sure my checks get mailed to me correctly. I can change my address here, and then any check that was actually assigned to me as a payee or as a user would basically then go to the correct spot. Yes?
As the administrator, my stuff means it isn't
okay.
everybody, it's just you because you're the administrator and you're the owner of it.
My stuff is personal depending on the user. So if Johnny is logged in, Johnny is the only one dealing with his
my stuff. Okay.
But if I'm the administrator, I'm going to go through a different spot. I'm going to go through users to actually edit Johnny's information. But if Johnny wants to edit it, he goes to my stuff. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's basic information, username, password, any sort of information. A couple of little things that are kind of fun is you can actually, there's a thing called My Settings and Defaults. You can click on this. This is actually incredibly new. This is probably like within the last month type thing. So basically you click on it, you can actually set up your own defaults. So if you have a certain cart type that you always like to do, say I always do a client invoice, and I always want to do basic live POs, and I always want to pay by check or EFT or whatever. Say I always pay with ACH, so it automatically gets pulled out of my account.
So anytime you're logged in, it's like the corporate setting. Anytime you
so this is my own little things that kind of help me to kind of get that stuff going on. So if I hit Save My Settings right here, click. And now, say for instance, on this ACH thing right here, if I start a new expense receipt, and we'll just put in just one for fun, just to kind of check it, should automatically pull in ACH.
What is ACH?
Auto Clearing House. Okay, so basically it's kind of like a bank transfer, but basically it automatically gets sucked out. ACH. Oh crap! No, just kidding.
That's OCH.
Auto Clearing House is technically what it stands for, but it basically means it's automatically going to be deducted out of your account. ACH.
Like a withdrawal.
Yeah, I guess not transfer, withdrawal.
So the opposite of that, if I send money, it's called an EFT, electronic funds transfer. But if somebody automatically sucks it out, it's called an ACH. It goes without a check, without anything. It's an auto clearing house. Okay. But anyway, that's where those type of settings come up. Now, if I actually do like a new invoice, okay, it says I have a cart, so I'm just going to clear it. I'll just do that again. Boom! It automatically knew that I selected client invoice. Okay, that was my default. So basically, you're able to set up some of these defaults, and then it helps you so that you can go through and start clicking and clicking and clicking. It just speeds up some stuff.
Right.
So what we did right there was basically from my stuff, we clicked on my settings and defaults. It tells you which one your default home page is. This page right now, it only has this many. I guarantee you within 6 months this is going to have 15, 20. Okay, like it's an area that we're seeing that growth is going to be needed in. Like, hey, I want to tweak it out this way, and I want to tweak it out this way. So I guarantee you this one will continue to grow. If that makes sense. I'm going to hit back just to kind of get out of my personal settings portion.
Well, I would see a bunch of people are using Adilas, but everybody wants to go to a different home page, then whoever logs in can have their home page come up. Right?
Oh, correct. So if I could log into the same corporation and I could land on my home page, and somebody else could log into Adilas and be even in the same company, and they can land on what they call their home page.
Yeah.
So like there's going to be more and more and more of these personal settings. It's just barely starting to actually. This was our first stab at like saying, here's the first 5 or 6 that we know are coming. We're going to have default departments that they clock in and out on. We're going to have default banks that they like to use. We're going to have like each person sometimes deals with certain things. Like one of those things was actually like which is your default location. Like we actually have some places that have multiple locations. There's a pro shop that has 30 some odd locations. Some of their employees actually are rovering between the different locations. So what they'll do is they'll basically be like, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be in Galaxy or whatever. So they'll go change it. So as soon as they start creating invoices, automatically it pulls in the Galaxy location versus, you know, some other location that's there. So kind of interesting. My Cart Favorites. This takes you right to My Cart Favorites. It literally is mine. The My History homepage. This is like, what did I do today?
What did I do? Nobody else.
What did I do today? And I just clicked on it. It's pulling it. It seems like it's. But basically, when you click on this, it's going to come back through. We've been busy today. I have done a ton of stuff.
Yes.
Okay. This is just today's report. Okay.
Wow.
So invoices, I have 10 history items, and if I wanted to, I could click on it. Basically say, oh, I added this. I used this. Oh, I used the system to make a payment. And look at this. I applied a $500 payment. 268 of it went to this particular invoice. Like it's basically tells me, oh, I tied element of time this to this particular invoice. These are just little things that are. This is system history, like what actually happened and what went on. I did a ton of stuff with POs, bunch of line items, bunch of this, bunch of expense receipts, 6 customer histories, 4 vendors, 1 FlexGrid history, 3 new pieces of FlexGrid. You know, like that it's just different pieces that kind of. I made 12 product changes. So this is probably, if I click on it, it'll actually show me all the different little part numbers. Kitty call, ice, you know, whatever. These are the different things that I actually created today. So it basically kind of goes through there and says, what did we actually do? We made 8 changes to history. This was probably adding items here and modifying this and then changing this. 8 elements of times. What did we do here? We probably added different little subs and created some and invoiced some and a bunch of different things. I think I clicked on it. Let me click it up again. Okay, we created, we updated, we created, we manually did something. We basically it kind of tells you a little bit of the story, but it's actually a piece of the puzzle. So that's accessible from my stuff, and it basically gets you into what all happened. If you wanted to really tweak it out, this is just a play site, so I don't imagine there's tons and tons of activity in here. But if I wanted to change this for the monthly of March, and I said get the report, it just rearranged some of my numbers there, okay? And once again, it's just for me. You can do this exact same thing for other people. Like say you have multiple people. If you have the admin permissions, this is my stuff, and I can deal and dictate with it. I can also limit it. Like say I was like, hey, you know what? I just want to see elements of time. What did I do? It can pull that report way down if you needed just a specific. If I'm a big guy and I have the admin permissions, if I go here, basically this will take me to my history homepage, and once I actually get there, I should be able to probably tell it's 5 o'clock. Everybody's like, okay, I'm checking out.
So if I were the administrator and I wanted to see what everybody else did today, if I was checking them, I'd go up to that.
You go history homepage, and then there's a link automatically that says, hey, do we want to see exactly what happened? And then depending on the different users that logged in, it would actually pull it in. So if I actually, just for fun, I'm just going to log out of Brandon and into one called guest, do something, and then come back just so you can see it'll show up, okay? Because it comes into the same little basic site here. So the server right now, from my observation, looks like it's running a little bit slow. It's kind of like, ugh. Now it could be my internet slow, or it could be like it's getting a major hit right now. Just kind of like, end of the day, quick, clock out. whatever might be happening, okay? I'll log in. Let's just kind of create, should I do something in time or invoices, or what do I want to do?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Let's actually just do time. And I believe that we actually had one that we did. What's that?
I was going to say, will you do the time clock? I've never seen you use the time clock.
Sure. Yep.
I don't know.
Okay, so basically right here, if I'm in guest, let's actually click on time cards, and it says, hey, your last action was on 10/24/11. It's been a while since I've clocked in from this particular one, but it says, actually, I'm looking for the next one is a clock out. So I'd say, hey, I'm going home. See you later.
Wow, you've been there a long time.
Yeah, it could be that easy. Say I was going to actually clock in now, like to actually do one today. Start work. If I wanted to record some notes, I could. Doing Adilas training, boom. It threw me right to my hours, which is another one off of my stuff. Okay, it's kind of my stuff. And now if I actually, let's see if that actually created a thing. Let's actually go check, take a look at my actions. So I have one new time card that would have showed up. So I'm going to log out and then come back in as Brandon, so I'm a bigger dog now. And we're going to go into the playground. And now if I'm over here under History Reports and I click on this, I should also see Guest would show up now with one little time card. Okay, so like depending on who's playing and who's doing what, it actually changes a number of different pieces of the puzzle. So just to kind of give you like a real life scenario, I'm going to go over to Adilas and we're going to actually run it for the month. And just to kind of see who's doing what and who's doing different things. I don't know if Steve's in there or David or who all's in there, but we'll click on it and see what happens. Because you play on the internet, you have to play with all the other people that are playing on there too. So
yes.
It just kind of depends on what's
going on. So is that your real Adilas.biz?
This is real live. We've been live all day today.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's thinking right now. So we'll just wait and chill. Take a drink of water, huh? Okay, so if I click on, so it looks like there's been some people, a couple people have done some logs, a couple elements of time, and a couple invoice payments have happened. If I click on it, it would physically tell me who was actually playing in there today inside of Adilas as far as what's going on. One of the things that we're going to actually do to this particular report to speed it up is we're going to actually go in and start playing with numeric dates and times rather than trying to make this thing sort through real live date and time stamps. Because what happens, and this is on a technical level, but if you have 3:26 at such and such a time, like technically it has to search all of those pieces in order to kind of like get it. So what we're going to do is behind the scenes, you won't even see this, we'll convert it into numbers and decimals, okay? And all of a sudden it's be like, hey, go get everything that's between 4,000 and 4,500. Oh, no problem. Like, it can do math like that on numerics. And so we're basically, in order to speed up some of these pieces, we're going to kind of, behind the scenes, it's all going to be hidden, but we're going to run on numeric dates, but we'll translate it into English. So if you, you don't have to be like, what's the numeric date for today?
Yeah.
You just put in the dates, and then behind the scenes we're like, okay, what they really mean is between 4,000 and 4,500. Like, those are just fictitious numbers, but it'll make the reports run so much faster. Because right now it literally is doing dates and times and all this type of stuff. I'm going to just kind of change this up. Watch this. If I say, hey, monthly, who did what for this historical rather than effectual?
No, you were on Adilas, but it didn't show you because you weren't doing anything.
I didn't do anything for there, okay? So here's some of the different people who have been playing and where we've been playing at, okay? So for the whole month, I've done I tweaked one little thing on deposits. I did a couple little invoices stuff. I've done a lot with expenses, and I've done a lot with expense photos. These are 15 different little photos that I actually uploaded for expenses. And I've done some employee stuff and some FlexGrid stuff and some time stuff. Does that make sense? So if I even clicked on this photos, it'll actually take you to physical pieces that I uploaded for Adilas. And you can see that they're not funny little pictures. They're like, oh, here's one for Shannon Moore for an expense. I actually uploaded a physical image of the invoice that she did. Like I switched from playground to real. I don't know if you noticed that, but like all of a sudden this is like real life, real life stuff. So if I click on this, this is basically the physical invoice that Shannon submitted to us for Adilas for a bunch of hours, 23.5 hours. And if I wanted to actually go back to the gallery, whatever, we ended up writing her a check for this, and it's under expense receipt 3406.
So did you have to scan that in?
I scanned two things in. I actually scanned the check that I wrote out of Adilas and the invoice. So I have two different pieces of,
Wow.
basically it's documentation.
Wow, that's powerful though, that you're not sticking it in a filing cabinet stapled together, you know?
Oh no. Like we don't play that way. So do you guys have any other questions? I'm going to go ahead and jump out of the original Adilas and kind of go back to the play site. Do you have any other? But when you're dealing with real data and real things, you can really do real stuff. Like in some of our tutorials and some of our stuff, we just play, but in real life Adilas, you really document the story.